you to put your hands together for the one, the only, Freddy Fazbear.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. For kids, it's #1. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where fantasy meets fun. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Get your pizza by the pound. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where all the kids are safe and sound.
Fazbear Entertainment offers absolutely no guarantees regarding guest safety.
Yo, what's going on, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Film Archives, where we break down movies. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and like the video because it helps your boy's channel out. And today, I got a banger for you. We're going to be breaking down Five Nights at Freddy's. Was Five Nights at Freddy's worth watching? Let's find out. So the movie starts off, we're shown that the current security guard of the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria has been trapped and, stuck in some sort of saw-like contraption that is about to end his life in the most brutal way possible. Will he escape? No, he will not escape. He will die in this contraption. It's very brutal stuff. But then right after that, we have a straight fire little intro where we get to see some really badass arcade games and some super cool 8-bit retro stuff. It's pretty neato, not gonna lie. But then we're shown Josh Hutcherson's character. His character's name is Mike, and he's just waking up, doing his morning routine. We see that he works currently as a security guard in the mall, and he's kind of just talking to his coworker. He's showing him his favorite book, a book called Dream Theory, and there's that. So he looks off into the distance and he sees what looks like maybe a small child getting taken away by a kidnapper, or possibly the small child's father. We'll find out. Mike, Josh Hutcherson, flips his wig and he just goes after the man that's taking the kid away and just immediately beats the ever-living shit out of him. And he starts brutalizing this guy right there in the fountain of the mall. It's freaking kind of funny, but it's really brutal stuff. Turns out that the man was the boy's father, so of course, he's let go and fired from his current job because you can't be beating up kids' dads, especially beating them up right in front of the kid. But he seeks to find a new job, so he's having a conversation with a career counselor in the next scene. This is Matthew Lillard. He's kind of a weird-looking guy and stuff, and right away it's Matthew Lillard, so he's either going to be a Shaggy type.
Check out my pecs, little man!
Or he's going to be like a bad guy from Scream type.
Yeah! I'm ready, baby! Tonight! Get up!
We'll find out what kind of guy he is in a little while, So anyway, the career counselor is going through Mike's file, and suddenly he reads his last name and kind of gets hung up on that, so maybe he knows who he is. But then he offers him an overnight position as a security guard, and Mike refuses. He says he can't work nights because he's the main caregiver of his little sister, so, he has to watch her, and he can't leave at night. We're then introduced to Abby, his little sister. She has imaginary friends. She's drawing, just doing little kid. It's pretty cool. Mike just goes to sleep, and we're shown that dream. He's with his little brother on a family trip, and they're on vacation, and his little brother kind of wanders off. Then suddenly he's taken by an unknown assailant in a car, and we learn that Mike's trying to relive this dream so that way he can, kind of find small details and clues as to who the person was who abducted his little brother. So in the next scene, we are shown Aunt Jane, and she's trying to take custody of Abby, Mike's little sister, and saying that, Mike is an unfit caregiver, and Aunt Jane's a real bag, not gonna lie, but basically she's saying that Abby has mental issues and all this, and she doesn't talk, that Mike is in no position to take care of her. We learn that Aunt Jane is pressing charges, and is going to take Mike to court over the custody of Abby, his little sister. Her therapist, Dr. Lillian, basically says, no, Mike, she loves you, so you should take care of her. It's probably the best thing for her. And maybe just start off by getting a job and showing the courts that you really want to be her caregiver. So immediately he goes home, and freaking calls Steve Raglan, the career counselor, Matthew Lillard, and he's like, hey, is that job still available? Working at the best pizzeria ever, Freddy Fazbear's. And he's like, yeah, are you interested? And he's like, yeah, I'll take the job. Steve Raglan, he explains to him, it was a big hit in the 80s with the kids. It's been shut down for years, but I guess the owner is super sentimental, and he can't bring himself to let it go. And at this point, if you're paying attention, it's a little suspect.
I don't know, man. You've been seeming sus lately. It's almost like we have an imposter among us. You sussy baka.
So you're our number one suspect. Maybe Steve Raglan, the career counselor, is the owner. We don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll have to keep watching and find out, guys. It's incredible stuff. It's really, truly incredible. So his first night, he starts watching an awesome training video that's labeled with his name. So it's a little suspect right there. It's kind of ominous. But, you know, it basically explains the history of Freddy Fazbear's in baller retro fashion. The attention to the game detail here, I will say, is pretty good. It's actually pretty good. The video basically explains that the genius who created Freddy Fazbear's did so and opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to indulge in his two greatest passions: family-friendly fun and cutting-edge animatronic technology, and that it is now Mike's sacred duty to protect this cutting-edge technology. Super incredible stuff, guys. And they're basically creepy-ass animatronic suits that are probably not so good. We'll find out more about that in a little while. He basically, you know, just kind of checks the place out, looks at the monitors, decides that everything's all good, you know, and he goes on his lunch break. And while he's on his lunch break, he takes a nap, of course. I mean, if you work nights, you know. So if you know, you know.
I took a nap for a second. Oh, no. Oh, no. My alarm ain't go off? They about to fire me.
And while he's asleep, he has the same dream again, where he's on vacation and his little brother Garrett's there. And, you know, he's being taken in a car by some sort of like child kidnapper. But in addition, there's also 5 new kids in this dream that he's never seen before. So pretty suspect. Does it have something to do with Freddy Fazbear's? Does it have something to do with Freddy Fazbear's? After that, you know, his shift kind of ends and he returns home. He checks in with his babysitter. The babysitter's name is Max. And, you know, he's like, sorry, I don't have money right now, but I'll pay you as soon as I can. She's pretty okay about this. Max is a good person or so, I think. So the next scene we see Max, the babysitter, and her brother meeting with Aunt Jane. So it turns out that the babysitter is not so nice. You know, she's pretty evil, to be honest. But basically she was hired by Aunt Jane to go and spy on Mike and, you know, get evidence of criminal endangerment. So that way Aunt Jane could use that evidence against Mike in court and gain custody of Abby. Super snaky stuff, dude. There's nothing there. You know, he's a good guy. You know, he's always asleep, but, you know, he got a new job, so maybe we can go and ruin his new job. And her brother's like, yeah, we'll do it for $1,000. He's a security guard, so, you know, we'll go ransack the place and make it super messed up, and hopefully he'll lose his job. So that way, you know, you can gain custody of Abby. Mike's back at work. You know, he's taking with him some items to help him remember his dream better, and that way he can kind of, you know, find some clues as to who took Garrett, his little brother. So Mike has the same dream again, and the 5 children return, and he asks the 5 kids, you know, do they know who took Garrett? And, you know, they run away. It's kind of ominous, and one of them stabs him and makes him bleed, and suddenly he's bleeding in real life. It's some real Freddy Krueger shit, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, terrifying. Cop shows up randomly and she introduces herself as Vanessa, and she mentions that Freddy Fazbear's is on her route, so, you know, she checks in on the place from time to time. She also just used to love the place as a kid. Pretty suspect though, because she seems to know where just everything is inside the pizzeria. It's super sussy baka, dude. It's super sus.
Sussy baka.
But yeah, she turns on the power and we get a creepy view of the animatronics, and she explains that back in the 80s this place got shut down because, you know, like 5 kids went missing from inside the pizzeria. 5 kids. Yeah. She tells him not to let the place get to him and, you know, just do his job and he'll be just fine. We then see Max, the babysitter, with her brother and her brother's friends about to break into Freddy Fazbear's and just kind of trash the place in hopes that Mike will lose his job. So yeah, they go in there, they start trashing the place, you know, they're stealing quarters, really messed up stuff. Like, who steals quarters like that? It's scandalous. We then see the animatronics just full on Fatal Fury mode, just Bash Bro status, you know, and they eventually kill them off one by one. We have some really cool monitor footage, call back to the game. If you know, you know. It's really good stuff, honestly. It's really good stuff. But yeah, they all die one by one. Very sad stuff, very brutal stuff, very old, very powerful. We then see Abby kind of going through the house, and she finds the court paperwork that she filed against Mike. So then Vanessa shows up at Mike's house and is like, hey, just so you know, someone broke into Freddy Fazbear's. And he's like, okay, well, that's unfortunate. How is this my fault, you know? And she's like, well, I found your sleeping medication at the crime scene. So if you were too whacked out to do your job, you're technically liable. Just kind of real bitchy vibes, you know, just not good. But, Mike's like, let's just take a walk and I'll explain to you why I have the sleeping medication. Yeah, he basically tells her about his dream theory, which, is a theory that everything he sees in life, down to like the smallest details, gets stored in your memory somewhere. He just needs to know how to access them. So, that's why he goes and he has the same dream every night. He's trying to find clues and details and anything that can help him find, the man who took Garrett. Vanessa feels bad for him and it's like, you know what? It's probably not your fault that someone broke in here anyway, but if you fall asleep on the job again, I'm going to arrest you, and you're going to be in big trouble. We then see Mike calling Max, the babysitter, and she's not answering, of course. So, because she's dead. She got killed by the Bash Bro status, she got killed. So she's, of course, not answering the phone. But Mike, has no choice other than to take Abby with him to work for the night. So he arrives at work and it's totally trashed from the earlier break-in. There's glass everywhere. There's, broken shit all over the place. And it's not good, it's not a good look. He basically tells Abby, just sleep here and don't, go exploring or anything like that. And she does, she builds a little fort there. Really cute stuff. She goes to sleep for the night. Meanwhile, Mike is busy cleaning up the place, kind of making it look better. I will give him props for that. Keeping the place clean, it's important. But later on, he's back on his lunch break and he's taking his nap, dude. He's getting sleeping any which way he can, brother. So he goes back to sleep and has the same dream, of course. While he's dreaming, Abby wakes up to go to the bathroom. And suddenly she comes across the animatronics, and she starts playing with them. And we see all the animatronics at Freddy's at this point. It's freaking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And there just so happens to be 5 of them. 5 animatronics. It's pretty weird coincidence, right? The 5 kids in his dream, the 5 animatronics. Like, I wonder indeed. We learn that they're all actually possessed by ghosts, like these animatronics are moving and, some ghost kids are controlling them, and it's, at this point, you definitely realize that it's the kids from Mike's dream. It's pretty wild stuff, Mike then returns to work the next day with Abby, and Vanessa just so happens to be chilling there waiting for them. Suspect? Very, very suspect.
That's suspicious.
Turns out Vanessa knew all along that the animatronics were possessed by ghosts. She just decided not to tell Mike, the security guard that works there. Super suspect. Like, what, is she involved? Is she involved? We don't know. Anyway, Abby starts playing with the animatronics once more, and Vanessa joins in, and they all decide we need to build a giant fort big enough for all of them to fit in. Like, we need to find a big blanket or like a big sheet. So Vanessa, of course, knowing where everything is, goes, oh yeah, there's tablecloths in the back. They go back there, they get the tablecloths, and they see another old animatronic suit just sitting there, and Mike's gonna touch it, and she's like, don't touch those, the mechanisms that keep them on your body are really unsafe and, they can hurt you. So she like pokes it and it's scary shit, Mike's pretty upset about this. He's like, well, what if Abby had come in here by herself? And Vanessa's like, I'm not the one who took her here. You did, Mike. You did. You piece of shit, you. But anyway, Abby's out there playing with the animatronics, and she accidentally hits one of the guitars and it shocks the living shit out of her. And, she flies back, gets hurt pretty badly. And it's not good. It's definitely not good, Vanessa, she says, I don't care what you do with your life, Mike, but if you bring Abby back here, I will shoot you. No hesitation. So then Mike asks his aunt to come over and watch Abby, and it really upsets Abby. There's that. Mike then returns to work at Freddy's and goes back to sleep in an attempt to ask the ghost kids there if they can help him find who took his little brother Garrett. And they actually agree, but on one condition. They want Abby to join them. It's really scary. But he wakes up and he's in the saw-like contraption from earlier, and he's trying to escape. And it's really scary stuff because the saw-like contraption will brutally murder you, as we saw in the intro to the movie. So it's not good. It's not good at all. Mike manages to narrowly escape certain death, and he starts running for his life. He comes across all the bodies from earlier. He sees Max, the babysitter, and her brother, and all those other people, and he gets chased around, and that's that. We're then shown that one of the ghost kids followed Abby home and is now asking her to go back to Freddy's with her, and he's already knocked out Aunt Jane, and she just fell asleep. I don't know if she died or if they just knocked her unconscious. They don't really specify that part, but it's fine. It's fine. The ghost kid takes Abby back to Freddy's, and they just kind of take a cab, which is super funny because one of the big ass animatronics is in the cab with them, and he's just like, why do I always get the crazies? Like, bitch, I wouldn't be driving nobody like that. You're especially a little ass kid, dude. You're crazy. So Mike wakes up from his earlier attack, and we find that Vanessa has nursed him back to health, you know, and kind of found him just in the nick of time. Convenient. A little too convenient, right? Vanessa basically tells Mike that the animatronics want to make Abby just like them. And, you know, she further explains that the kids who went missing in the 80s actually had their bodies stuffed inside the animatronic suits, and that's why no one could find them. But, you know, they don't mean to hurt anyone. And for some reason, the guy who killed them still has control over them, you know? And the reason she knows this is because the man who did this, his name was William Afton. And guess what? It's her dad, y'all. It's her dad, y'all. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. Absolutely full circle moment. It's insane. Vanessa then gives him a stun gun and like a cattle prod to kind of defend himself from the animatronics. She just mentions we'll stun them and, you know, won't cause permanent damage to the ghost kids because they're just kids. They're already dead, but, you know, anyway, it's fine. But, yeah, you know, they basically need to go in there and save Abby. So Mike goes back to Freddys in an attempt to save his little sister Abby from impending doom. You know, and Mike manages to get there just in the nick of time to save Abby from becoming an animatronic. He tells her he's sorry, you know, for being so obsessed with finding the man who took Garrett and that she's the most important thing in the world to him. It's a very touching moment, honestly. It really adds to the attachment of these characters. But as this is happening, Mike is suddenly attacked by the cupcake robot. You know, he manages to stop it, but he's, you know, he tells Abby to take off running, and, you know, he'll fight the animatronics, so she just needs to go hide. So they get separated, and it's not good. It's definitely not good. You never split up. Never split up, guys. So as he's looking for Abby, suddenly he's attacked by the big yellow rabbit, which might be, you guessed it, Mr. William Afton. Meanwhile, the fox tracks down Abby and is about to kill her. You know, she's like hiding in the ball pit, but Vanessa manages to get there just in time, and she saves Abby. It's pretty good stuff. The yellow rabbit just starts going Kerouac, berserk, ape on Mike, and is basically explaining to Mike that, you know what, I killed your little brother, and this is just too good. Now I get a chance to kill you, so you guys are both going to be dead, you know? It's pretty sad. Vanessa shows up again, and she pulls out her gun because she's a police officer and points it at the yellow rabbit and basically tells the yellow rabbit, drop your knife. Drop it. Drop it. You know, it's pretty scary. Drop it, Dad. I'm not kidding. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
The yellow rabbit takes off his mask, and guess who it is? It's the career counselor from earlier. It's just incredible. It's incredible. It's Matthew Lillard the whole time. Turns out that he's actually William Afton. You know, he has two different names. It's insane. It turns out that William Afton is actually Steve Raglan, or Steve Raglan is William Afton. It's the same guy, you know, and it's crazy because we kind of had a inkling suspicion, one, because he's Matthew Lillard, and two, he kind of gave it away at the beginning of the movie with, you know, how he was talking about, you know, the restaurant and being kind of sentimental and stuff like that. But yeah, he basically admits that he kidnapped Garrett and all those other kids in the 80s, and, you know, he killed them, you know, and God knows what else he did to them. God knows. It's not good, though. But Vanessa shoots, actually, at William Afton in the big suit. But, you know, since it's like an animatronic metal suit, basically kind of makes him bulletproof. So these bullets have very little effect. But then he pulls a Hulk Hogan and just slaps the out of the gun out of her hands. It's pretty incredible stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Knowing that the animatronics like the drawings, Abby draws a picture of William, you know, murdering the kids. Kind of helps them break out of his influence and, you know, remember the truth. And as Vanessa's attempting to stop William, he stabs her. So this guy stabs his own daughter, y'all. That ain't Bash Bros. That ain't Bash Bros. But yeah, at this point, Mike helps Abby by flipping on the breaker, and, you know, he shines like the spotlight on her, and Abby shows the drawing to all the animatronics, who suddenly remember that William is the reason they're all dead. So, you know, they turn on him. Mr. Cupcake just freaking attacks him right away and bites a whole piece of his suit off. And, you know, as these suits are kind of rickety and old, some of the spring mechanics like pierced into his body. It's just gnarly stuff. It's like something out of Saw or like Hostel. It's brutal. It's honestly super sick. But anyway, it triggers its like internal spring mechanisms, and they fatally wound William Afton, Steve Raglan, Matthew Lillard, whatever he's going by. Fatally wounds him. And the animatronics begin to drag him away, you know, and Mike and Abby go to rescue Vanessa, and they basically all leave the pizzeria together, you know. A little bit later on, Mike and Abby are driving, and they're kind of talking about what they want for dinner, and they go to visit Vanessa, who's currently in a coma, from all of the damage from the knife that William Afton stabbed her with. It's really sad stuff that she didn't wake back up. So she's in not good shape, but Mike and Abby are there for her. So there's that. And back at the pizzeria, the main animatronic is basically just watching William Afton die slowly. It's hecka gnarly stuff, man. Honestly, he's so ruthless with it. He's just yeah, suffer and die, you piece of shit. You killed us, so now you suffer and die, you piece of shit. And that's the end of the movie, actually. Was it worth watching? 100%. Yeah, it was actually surprisingly good. It was a surprise banger, It's definitely going to be a cult classic later on down the line. And they kept it pretty true to the games. They had a lot of good callbacks and a lot of good little references. It's cool they show the monitors that you watch when you play the game and stuff like that. So, but even if you never played the game, you can still enjoy this movie. So it was actually really well done. It wasn't too scary, and it was an hour and 50 minutes, but it went by really fast. It kept its pace throughout the entire movie, and it really developed the characters enough that you care about them as individuals. So you're pretty invested by the end of the movie. I would highly recommend watching this movie. Alright guys, that will do it for me in this video. If you made it this far, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Help your boy out. Help me go to the Fazbear's Pizzeria. You know what I mean? Help your boy out. And until next time, I will catch you in the next one, y'all. Peace!
That's suspicious. That's weird. That's suspicious.